everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast episode number 172. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Mondays with Mello, and today I want to talk about the soundtrack to my life. And what that basically means is I love music, and music is my life for the most part. Music is the soundtrack to my life, and I need music every day in my life, and it's just as important as sleep, drinking water, eating well, working out, and pretty much doing all of the daily things that I do every day. And after those important things, music pretty much sets the tone for my day. It's what gets me going through, good times, bad times, traveling on airplanes across the country, writing my books, especially, and so many more things. And there are so many songs that relate to my life, my journey, and where I am currently. Some songs, they're influential. Um, some of them have happiness, some songs have sadness, and a lot of these songs have allowed me to grow, as a young man in today's world. And a lot of songs, well, they keep me going and they push me to be great in all that I do. And I have a playlist on Spotify that personifies who I am and where I am in my life right now. And it's a playlist that gets me through my workouts at the gym, while I'm bike riding, when I'm working out on the basketball court. And then there's also the lo-fi chill playlist that I listen to, along with the ambient, electronic, and down-tempo music that I listen to when I'm writing my books. And it's funny because I'm on Twitter and I engage with people a lot and things of that nature. And a lot of writers, seem to ask, that one question, what's one thing that you can't do without when you're writing? And the biggest thing I say is music. And every book that I've written to this point, I have listened to music. I cannot recall not one book that I've written where music was not involved. Even when I'm writing about social issues, I do listen to certain, artists, certain songs, things of that nature. So even if you backtrack a lot of my podcasts or even my blogs, when I wrote the Cold Blue series, I listened to certain artists and certain albums and songs that kind of got my juices flowing, and it allowed me to write that book series. So when I write other books, a lot of it is listening to electronic and ambient music. I can't really listen to words and stuff like that. It kind of distracts me. It kind of keeps my brain waves from flowing and allowing me to write the content that I need to, even if I have an outline and everything laid out, which is what is the majority of how I write. But I always need smooth, melodic, chill music. There's certain artists that I listen to. I think I have mentioned that in previous podcasts. And I always look for new artists and new things to listen to kind of get things going, because sometimes you listen to the same things over and over again. It's just my mind's okay, great, you're listening to the same artists, the same albums. So that's kind of how I think about it, and music is just a huge component to my life. I'll give you a good story. When I was a young kid, and yes, I was born in the 80s, so record players were still around and records and things of that nature. My introduction to music was really 60s and 70s music. It was Al Green, Diana Ross and the Supremes, Anita Baker, Patti LaBelle, the O'Jays, the Manhattans, the Delphonics. So yes, I do know a lot of the old school music, and it never gets old. I say in a way my generation got the best of music, but I would say we got the best of R&B and hip hop at a certain time frame. With R&B, you had 112, you had Jagged Edge, you had Joe, you had Avon, you had Genuine, you had Montel Jordan, you had Drew Hill, you had Faith Evans, you had Carl Thomas. You know, and that's just artists that I'm running off the top of my head. And then as I got older and kind of head into my late teenage years, that's when Pink came along and John Legend and things of that nature. Um, yeah, I can pretty much rip Blackstreet. I can rip off R&B artists off the top of my head like there's no tomorrow. Like in today's age, I'm really on like the weekend. I can bump Neo from time to time. Kevin George is really a big one that I listen to now. Sir, he's part of Top Dog Entertainment. But anyway, I'm going off track. But anyway, when I was a kid, I um was introduced to music with 60s and 70s music. So it's funny that a few years ago, when I was still living on the East Coast, I was kind of, bumping music. My mom was like, "You know this stuff?" I'm like, yeah, I do because you were the one who introduced me to this music when you would play your record player every weekend and clean the house." And she's like, "Oh my God, you remembered that?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do. I was 4 or 5 years old. I think that's where a lot of my childhood memories started at age 4, 5. So the soundtrack to my life is just so many different artists, so many different influential people in music. And I'm not even talking about the top artists that are well known. I'm really talking about the artists that aren't even talked about, who like really like influence me and keep me going, especially in the electronic ambient realm. That's not a music genre that's really in the mainstream media. You really just learn that on your own as you go along. Lo-fi, I kind of really immersed myself in that really within the past year or so, and it's just such chill, like relaxing music, and a lot of artists I kind of just get immersed in. So I know I'm kind of going on a really wild goose, wild tangent ordeal with this, but uh, next to like the writing and loving sports and loving being around my family and things of that nature, and exercising and working out, eating good food, things like that, I would say that music is like in the top 5 of the most important things to me in my life. And I've had you know so many pairs of headphones, and I remember having a Discman in high school and making sure I had the batteries and listening to CDs and stuff like that. And I still have my CD collection. It's actually in storage back home on the East Coast. So if I ever wanted it, I can kind of go back to that storage place, that my mom and my aunt have, and be able to get that stuff back. I don't have the jewel cases anymore. I kind of got rid of those because it's a lot of space, but the CDs I still have. Um, and I will say that music has gotten me through a lot in my life, the good, the bad, family loss, things of that nature. I remember the music I listened to when I lost my grandfather. Uh, you know, Plenty of times where I've been sick and certain music has kind of gotten me through it. When I've been sad and I've gone through depression, certain music has gotten me through those tough times. So I'm here to tell you that I'm very eclectic with my music, um, and music gets me through a lot. And I hope that there's something that gets you through your rough patches in life. And I'm just here to, obviously, as you guys know, be more open about myself and who I am, but not share too much to the point where you know a little too much about me. But I will say that I'm someone who walks around with headphones on all the time. All the time. It doesn't even matter. I can be going outside to literally like go to my mailbox, go get a package, take out garbage. I have earplugs in or I have headphones on. It's just it's just second nature to me. You know how like you need like your house key or in your car keys and your phone, things like that. Yeah, those are important at all, but headphones I need to have or earplugs I need to have. I need to turn the world off. Like that's just me. Like I don't want to listen to other people's conversations, none of that stuff at all. And for me that's because I grew up in New York City, and being on public transportation and traveling a lot and in and out of the city, going into the suburbs to the city, you got to have headphones. Trust me. you you will see your share of crazy things on trains, loud and belligerent drunk people, constant noise, police sirens, just anything you can think of when you're in the inner city, you'll hear it. So for me to have headphones on that are noise canceling and can drown out a lot of sound, and I can still be aware of my surroundings, it's a beautiful thing. So basically, in a nutshell, the soundtrack to my life is just hip hop, rap, R&B, electronic ambient, alternative. Is a big aspect of my life, especially listening to Foo Fighters, Keane, Coldplay. Those artists are huge to me. Coldplay has gotten me through the roller coaster ride of life. I will say that Chris Martin has he's got me through some rough patches in life, but he's also kind of guiding me in my feels also when it comes to, love and compassion and things of that nature. So just kind of delving into that a little bit today. I hope you guys enjoy listening to a little bit more of who I am and my vulnerability. Wow, I can't pronunciate today. What's going on with me? But the question to you I will ask is, what is exactly your soundtrack to your life? And what songs push you to be great? And what genres do you listen to the most? And do you have playlists that are your go-tos on a daily basis? So just wanted to ask you those questions too, because trust me, we all are very similar in who we are, but we're also very different too. And that's what makes us all unique. So I'm going to end it there. And with that said, that's my podcast for today. I thank you guys for listening. As always, be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.